Guys, welcome back to the channel, and you know what time it is? So the new oil cooler, oil filter housing has arrived. Now I've got to get this fitted. Obviously I've never done one of these before, but I've watched a couple of videos. They don't look too hard to replace. So do you know what? We know the leak, or at least we believe the leak is coming from the oil filter housing. Now as you can see there's a real good quality rubber, and I reckon mine is perished on the one that I've got. The hardest part is probably getting it out without everything leaking all over the driveway. But we want to get this thing mobile, we want to get it operational, and we want no more coolant leaks. So the only thing to do, guys, is to get cracking. Welcome back to the channel, guys, and thank you to all the existing and new subscribers to the channel. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and let's get cracking. But I forgot, hit the like button as well, because why wouldn't you? It's free. So we're starting off here by stripping down the EGR valve. Now I've noticed that my van has got an EGR delete, which basically means improved engine performance, better fuel efficiency, longer engine life, and many more benefits. But you will get an engine management light on the dashboard, so therefore you'll need to get a remap, which comes at a cost of around £250 to £350. But the benefits outweigh having any EGR problems on your engine, so it's definitely worth doing. And I've got it on my Passat, and I know fine well that after an EGR and a remap, these things bloody fly, I'm telling you, and they are really good on fuel efficiency. So all I'm doing here is just stripping off the old clamps, because really these hoses are a pain in the arse. VW put standard clamps on and they are awful to get off, but we managed to get them off. That's the most important thing, and once we got them off, we just need to start draining the coolant out, because really I want as much fluids into that bucket before we start to take the oil cooler off. Because I've watched some YouTube videos, and when you take the oil cooler off, it pisses out with coolant and oil, and you know what, it's right, it does. So I think it's probably best we have a midway recap of what I've done so far. You've seen a lot of time lapse and a lot of me figuring it out. I don't know what this is, but it looks like some sort of fuel lines, I believe it is. I'm not entirely sure, or some air lines, I don't know what they are, but I just moved that bracket off there. Number one rule is always put your screws back in when you take your screws out of places that you don't know. So I'll put that screw back in there so we know where that is. Took the oil plug out of there. That's just a standard 32mm socket on a ratchet, and now I've got 4 bolts. I've loosened the top 2 bolts, which you can't really see down here, but there's behind there's 1 bolt there, there's another bolt behind that tube, and vice versa. But then it's quite easy to get to that. Airbox is taken out, these coolant pipes have been disconnected, sort of airbox has been disconnected as well. So I'm at a stage now where I pulled out the EGR as well, and it looks like this has been blanked off of this EGR, but what I'll do is I'll just clean that out as well. But there's definitely a blanking plate on the EGR, because now that I've took that off, it now confirms that the van has actually probably had a remap, because there's no engine management light on the dashboard. So there is an EGR, what do they call it? EGR delete, I believe it's the remap, so it's definitely had that. It's just the EGR cooler's not being deleted, unless them green buttons that you guys are going to see in the first bit of footage means that it's been deleted as well. I need you guys to comment and let me know. I'll clean all them pipes out. So next thing I need to get done, as we said, is literally just get 4 bolts out. I've dropped all the coolant into a nice tray down there. Hasn't made too much of a mess. I've put a big black board here as well, just to catch the majority of it, but the oil's going to leak into there as well. So 4 bolts to get out, and then as I said, I've got a new unit to go inside there, and it looks good so far. This is a reality of life, because you know what, them bolts were not coming out, they was just slipping as though they were rounding, and I didn't want to round them when they go into probably the engine block. So I thought, you know what, let's strip the front end down, start by WD-40 every bolt, and then start to strip down the crash bar, ready to get the rad pack off. Now the crash bar is attached to the rad pack, so please be careful if you're doing this yourself, because I tried to bring the last bolt out of the crash bar and the bloody thing nearly fell on me. So there's a couple of bolts there, there's a couple of screws inside the side of that radiator pack and crash bar. They do come off separately, and it allows you to tackle it one by one rather than just throwing yourself in the deep end. So if you haven't, go and check out another Caddy owner on YouTube. Guy's called DTE. A little bit not as good looking as me, but he's a good lad and he does caddies as well, so I've been watching him. Anyway, I'm an IT boffin, not a mechanic, but it doesn't mean we can't do it. So get this crash bar off, then I have no idea how the rad pack comes off. I hope it's not attached because I'm pretty much undone it. And then we will try and get that oil cooler off, eh? So obviously you can see I've got it off now. Crash bar come off. There's 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3 and 4 on the rad pack, which holds the crash bar in. Take them off. You can take the crash bar off on its own, and now I'm ready to take the radiator off. Never took the radiator off. There's about 2 or 3 pipes to get off. Get them off, pull it off, drain all the coolant into a bucket, and then I think we're ready to get that oil cooler replaced. So, a little bit different than what I wanted to be doing. However, sometimes in life, needs must. So, I've stripped down the front end, as you can see. Just letting the rad pack off just ever so gently and slightly, and I have managed, with pain, to get the 4 bolts out, or 3 bolts out. I've got towels, I've got rags. I haven't got a clue what's going to happen when I take this off. So the piece de la resistance is the last one, and I've been waiting for this, so, and I want to get it done, and I want to get it back together. So let's get cracking and get this thing off. It's none of these 2. It is this one here. I think I'm going to get some new bolts as well, because I think these bolts are knackered. But I can put the bottom ones in and just not put the top ones in. Coolant pipes off it. Oil filter housing is already out. Hang on a minute, John. Hang on a minute, you haven't removed the dipstick. Put that bolt back in. A minute, because I haven't removed the dipstick. I know I need a screwdriver for it. What's that bolt up there? Bigger screwdriver, please. So, if you don't know, the dipstick is attached to the side of the housing. So, just get a screwdriver in there, give it a wiggle, and it should just come straight out. He says, but that is causing some tremendous pain. There we are. She's out. chop it out. Bosh, one little plug. Beautiful. So, gloves on, at the ready, towel, covering anything. I don't really want it to get in. That bucket has to be over here. Now I've heard there's loads of oil and loads of coolant comes out. Again, you never know how true it is until you do it yourself. So let's have a go, eh? Mechanic. They all say, you're a mechanic, John. I aren't, I'm just like having a go. So DTE, if you're watching this, can you show me how to do an injector? Because I've never done that before. Right, we're ready. Definitely only 4 bolts, so out of the way. Oh, there you go. One housing is out. You did it. She's out. So we shall inspect that. Yeah, look, the rubber gasket's gone. We'll inspect that at a later date. To make sure the drive's not getting covered in shit. Not quite sure what I need to clean up the front of that face with, but we'll just use a rag for now, just have a good clean up to do that. I don't quite know what you clean the surfaces up with. I assume it's a bit of a wire brush, but I really don't know. You want to do wire brushing that? Not really. Going out. So that was the anticlimactic piece, I think. I expected that to be a little bit worse. So yeah, it looks like again, I haven't got a clue what's happening. I'm just absolutely winging it here, guys, but what I will say is she's off. She looks a bit mucky in there, looks a bit orangey. I don't know whether that's just the coolant or not. But yeah, let's clean that surface up, get the new one on, get the rad pad back in. Job's a good one. Let's hope we've got no more leaks. I reckon a fine bit of sandpaper will probably clean that up, won't it? Taking it all back off again, because I thought to put the hose on. Because I forgot to put that hose on. Right, I have built. She's nearly there. She's a little bit tender. She needs a little bit of love and affection at the minute. So I've still got to get the bolts in for, I think that's a throttle, some throttle housing or something. I don't quite know what it is, what its purpose is, but it's that housing there. I still need to get, oh no, this housing here, I still need to get back and done. I need to put the airbox in, but I tell you what, I'm going to right you on with this hose down here in the side, because they've got them little clips on. See them little clips? Basically one of them things. Hang on, where is she? There. One of them things, and I just haven't got the tool to get that out, so I'm going to borrow one of them tools just so I can get that clip off there, get that hose moved around, and then put that throttle body piece back on, airbox back in, this sensor back in. Not sure what that sensor does. This sensor at the front left here, not sure what that sensor is, some sort of rad sensor, probably a temperature sensor. Get this big hose on here, down the bottom here, which again, I don't know what they are, but all I know is that the hoses. And then I need to take the oil, put the old oil filter in there. I'll probably do that in a minute so I don't forget. Get the EGR piece back on, airbox in, and I sound like I know what I'm doing, but in hindsight I'm just having a whirl. So cold it is out here. So it's getting late, I've got it changed. I've got the screws back in, and what I've also done is I have put the screws, they're all great once I clean them out, give them a good wire brush, give them a good clean out, they're absolutely fine to put back in. They weren't rounded, don't need new bolts. However, I've put the two, what I would call dodgy ones, at the top in case I need to replace them, and it's a quick 2-minute job just to take them without taking the front end off. But I've got a question for you guys. Is there meant to be something in here? So at the front of the rad pack, I'm pretty sure there is meant to be something inside there, and I haven't took anything out of that side. And this side here, obviously I'm assuming they sort of butt up together, you see, like so. So I'm pretty sure there's something that needs to go into here, but I've took nothing out of it. So anyone who's got a VW or a Caddy or knows Caddies, DTE, if you're watching, let me know. I need something in there. Pretty sure of it, but look, we're getting there. And you know what, I can't wait to get some water in there. I believe the next thing I've got to do is keep the cap off, put some water in, put some water in, leave the cap off, put an oil filter inside there, the old oil filter first, just to start her up, and then that'll get some circulation going around once I've got the airbox in. Then what I'm going to do is, if she's at temperature, and if she's staying, and if she doesn't leak, Then another day I'm going to drop the coolant, water, change the oil and give it a full service. And I'm pretty sure that bit is done, but I am hoping, and I mean I am hoping this fixes the leaks. I'm 99.9% sure based on this unit. Let's have a quick look. Based on this unit, you can pretty much see, look at where the seals were. Now if you look, that rubber there, where it's just got a bit of edge on here, see that there? It's all, they've just worn right down, which is why it was leaking. There's also, here's some deterioration in the in here, but the rubber